Right, is this working now? Can you hear me? I'm not sure if anyone can hear me. Okay, brilliant. I think I can hear you now. Brilliant. I hate when technical faults happen. Why? Why does it have to happen now? Okay. I've been waiting for this interview to drop the past few hours or so, and Rio finally dropped the interview with Michael Owen. Probably one of the most honest interview you could listen to, or probably Rio's best work so far. I know, he's had it with Ronaldo already, but I believe this is one of Rio Ferdinand's best work so far. You know, and I just love the way Owen spoke about himself, the way he carried himself at the bloody age of 17 and 18, and it was fearless. He kept telling himself he's better than everybody else. I just love the way he carried himself. But it's nice. It's nice to see. You know, there are some certain players now with the same mentality, but as soon as they say stuff like that, they'll get dragged by the fan base. But yeah, this was definitely one of Rio's best work, and it feels so natural because they've known each other for so long. International academy, you know, rivals, teammates, and everything, club teammates. They've trained together. Anyway, let's get to it. Michael Owen, ex Rio Ferdinand. Fair play to Rio Ferdinand. Fair play.
You've been banging on for ages and ages to see this.
To help you get out.
No, you're not allowed to touch unless you've won it. We putting it there?
Wow.
There it is.
Now it's time to talk real proper football, innit? With that bad boy sitting there. There's a couple of things that might surprise you about Michael Owen, especially if you're looking back at the latter stages of his career and not thinking about when he won the Ballon d'Or. I've known him since he was 15 and he's always fascinated me. But did you feel that you had that aura even at that age?
Yeah.
I remember we sat in an airport once, we were delayed for ages, and I remember saying to you, and since then I've wanted to interview you, so this is years ago. He's also a lot funnier than you might give him credit for. What he said is, I was better than Michael Owen in every department.
Well, that's not true, is it? It's just plainly not true. You are a defender, so you are going to get marked down when it comes to getting that. I still think he was nuts.
Even though he won the league?
Oh, mate, and?
This is the Michael Owen I know that exists. And the belief he had in himself is like nobody that I've come across in football.
I walked into R9, Figo, Zidane, Bex, Roberto Carlos, Raul. If you always think you're better than you are, you will catch up with that. And I saw Wazas got asked, who's the best between me and him at 17, 18 the other day, and I did smile.
So give this version of Michael Owen a listen. Ballon d'Or, Michael. I don't know if you actually realise the significance of this.
I didn't when I won it at all. Didn't really know what it was when I won it.
What do you mean?
It was only when I went to Madrid. They don't mention your name without saying Ballon d'Or winner after it. But in England, no one said anything. It's only got really popular, I think, in England in the last 15, 20 years or whatever.
Yeah,
but
since Ronaldo and Messi started, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's kids now, like, it's unbelievable. People see it, feel it, want it, hear about it. But I don't think it was as big as it was back then.
But just to explain this, and I put it into a bit of context, only the fourth Englishman to ever win the trophy, and you were 22 years old at the time. So Liam Delap's age, you won this.
Yeah.
When you put it like that, it's crazy. The year before you won it, Figo and Zidane were 1 and 2. Nobody has won it from England since you've won it. And those that have come closest since you did was Lampard, who finished second in 2005. Steven Gerrard finished third. And Jude Bellingham also finished third last year.
I came fourth when I was 18 in it as well.
This is what I'm saying.
And that...
Were you disappointed to come fourth then?
No, I'm disappointed I'm not the youngest ever. R9 beat me by a couple of months. He's just beat me. I'm the second youngest ever. So, yeah.
See when you just spoke like that, that's the Michael Owen eyes that I used to see. I mean, we was on the bench or playing in snooker and table tennis in the 98 World Cup. That was the eyes you give you. I remembered then. Seriously, you just came back out of nowhere. I don't know. You probably don't know, but it just came. that competitiveness.
Yeah, that's my problem. Well, it's not my problem. That's what made me win things like that. You know, I had a mindset of an absolute winner, of being the best. I didn't want to be someone asked me, if my dad said to me, "What do you want to do when you get older?" When I was 7 or 8, I said, "I want to be the best player in the world." I'm not like a footballer. That's a given. I'm going to be a professional footballer. I'm going to be.
Well, did you know you was going to be a footballer?
Yeah.
No way.
I mean, I could have.
Yo, just listening to that, what he's saying there is literally how a lot of them growing up, that's how they were thinking, but not to this level, the way he was like at the age of, whatever age he was talking about there. And I can tell you now, what he's saying there, a lot of kids know what they want to be at that age where he's talking about there. They know where they want to be, what they want to be when they grow up. And sometimes it just works out for them. It just works out. And I'm laughing now because Harris, even at nursery, on his final day, they ask him, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, footballer. And anytime they've asked him, he keeps saying the same thing. He's not saying anything else, he just keeps saying the same thing. And it kind of resonates what Owen is saying, that he knew, even when his dad was asking him back then what he wants to be when he grows up, he kept saying he's going to be the best footballer in the world. And he did. He won the Ballon d'Or. It's crazy, this level of mentality. I don't know if we have it now with these current guys, crop of guys playing football now. I don't know what it was like for them. Those days as well, it wasn't the easiest era to play football. They probably had one pair of football boots. Training and traveling, But just the way he spoke there, damn. He knew he was going to be the world best player at some point. He knew he wanted to be a footballer, and he became one. And he became he won the Ballon d'Or. He became one of the best English footballers.
I told you that at 7 or 8, or do you know what I mean?
Wow.
But that's irrelevant, because you have to think like that. So every kid that makes it will always think like that.
But you were thinking it with some real.
It was just a question of how good you're going to be, whether you can be that good or whether you can, just a Premier League player.
I remember going to Lilleshall and playing against Lilleshall, and Lilleshall is like the old training ground. It used to be the old place where all the best kids used to go and stayed there for 2 years, wasn't it? And you was obviously one of the best kids that got in there. I didn't get in there actually, and you was a year younger than me at school. And I remember you walking in to get your food, and the whole place stopped. You had an aura then, and you would have been 15 then, probably 14, 15. But did you feel that you had that aura even at that age?
Yeah. I mean, people will have only seen me, or remember me, let's say, in the later years when I'm getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The agony for me is that nobody remembers, only a few people remember what I was like when I was 10 and 12 and 15 and 18 and maybe up to 22. I was past it and on the way down by sort of 21 or whatever. And that's the agony, because was there another 18-year-old that was anywhere near me at 18? I was light years clear of anything in my age group, anything, and probably anything around my age group in England. And then got into the Liverpool team and won the Golden Boot at 17. I mean, forget that. Forget, achievements and forget all the things. There will never ever be a 2-time Golden Boot winner as a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old to win it twice in the Premier League.
This is the Michael Owen I know that exists.
That is great. That is so rare. That's rocking horse shit. But there will be no one that'll ever do that. And you can bring the next kid and the next kid and the next kid and the next one that scores 10 goals and everything. Oh, it's the next Michael Owen. Or it's the next this and the next that. I mean, I was winning Golden Boots at 17 against, look at the strikers.
Shearer, Andy Cole, Ian Wright.
Fowler.
Sheringham, there's loads of them.
And that's just English players.
Zola.
And later on it would be Jurgen Klinsmann's probably and Thierry Henry came a bit later on. Things like Ruud van Nistelrooy later on. But there was great strikers. Now there's 4, 5 good strikers in the Premier League.
Compare the eras. I have this debate with my mates all the time. What era is better and stuff? Strikers, what are you thinking when you look now compared to them?
Just to answer your question plainly, it's not even a comparison in terms of what the strikers were and are. But that is because most teams now only play with one. We were born to play in partnerships, and then you'd have subs that would come on. So every team would have 3 or 4 top strikers. Now, there's such a dearth of them. You're lucky to have one great striker in your team. So it's different. Wide players are now inverted. It's changed. So you've got to bear that in mind. But in terms of trying to win a Golden Boot or whatever, I mean, literally at the start of every season now, you could toss a coin between 2 players, maybe 3. Back in our day, you having, as you've mentioned already, people like Chris Sutton, Dion Dublin, Kevin Phillips, they weren't getting a sniff with England. Not even close. Robbie Fowler, Andy Cole scoring 30 goals in the Premier League, weren't even getting close to England, really. You've got Harry Kane, but he's not going to last forever. I like Ollie Watkins a lot. There's a couple of other players, but the 12th or the 14th best England striker then would be, one of the best 1 or 2 now.
What about the strikers in the current game now? Who do you look at and go, I admire that, I like that?
Well, I mean, Harry Kane, I think, is just lethal. I think he's a brilliant finisher. A brilliant finisher. I disagreed with him going to Germany. I was outspoken about that. I still think he was nuts.
Even though he won the league?
Oh, mate. And you're on the verge of being the all-time Premier League goal scorer. You've got kids that are all in school. I mean, I just couldn't see it. I don't see it. And if you're that desperate to win something, then, do another year and then go to but to go and just win, it's like, if you go up and move to Celtic and win the league, are you like, oh yeah, I know, I change that? They win every year, but there's no great achievement in that. The great achievement would have been being the top goal scorer ever in the Premier League. That would have been unbelievable. And he could have won things along the way.
Would you have rather won the Europa League with Spurs and done what you're saying now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. Anyway, we digress. Harry Kane, I love him. I think he is lethal. He's got balls of steel under pressure. Penalty is a big thing now. There's penalties, especially a couple of years ago when any flick off a hand was a handball. Penalties are happening so often. You've got to have a great penalty taker. He is unbelievable. He's got presence. I do like him. I think he's been brilliant over the years. Who else? Do you know what? Ollie Watkins is, for me, is so raw, and when he's playing angry, I actually really like him, and I think he could be top class. He just needs to,
consistently
grasp it now, because he's not young anymore. There's not that many that I look at and think, whoa, he's unbelievable. I love Isak, love Isak. Great finisher, calm, lovely presence, elegant. Like, Haaland is just a goal machine, isn't he? I think his game is pretty okay. I don't think it's great. His game, his hold-up play, his touches. And I counter that with...
Why is Michael Owen making so much sense now on a podcast more than the way he would do whilst commentating a game or doing his punditry? Why is he making so much sense now? I can't even tell you what, he's spot on with Haaland. He's spot on with Isak. He's spot on with Harry Kane. Everything is on the money for him. Whatever he's saying here is making so much sense that when you listen to him live commentating or analysing games, but it does analyse the games proper compared to Roy Keane and Gary Neville's, because Roy Keane is all about passion and punching people or pulling them by, whilst he tried to analyse the game, a goal, how the striker managed to score that goal, how did they get into that position, and it's making so much sense listening to him in this podcast than when he's commentating. Maybe people just need to give him time and listen to what he's got to say when he's commentating, and he's doing the podcast stuff. But this is a good listening, Like I said, it's one of his best work so far. Let's continue.
We're saying it's bloody hard to play for Man City in that position because everyone sits back, everyone puts numbers behind the ball centrally, and it's virtually impossible. All this rubbish that he doesn't touch the ball, many times, but he always scores. Well,
it's his job, isn't it?
That's his job, but it's impossible to touch the ball as a centre forward for Manchester City. Everyone just floods the edge of the box, sits deep, and don't give you any space. But he's lethal in front of goal, and he's got attributes you just can't teach, you can't buy, you can't. So, he's obviously great as well. But there's very few now. There's very few. I mean, you look back and there was dozens of them.
In terms of number nines, currently, who would you go best number 9 in the world right now?
Well, is Mbappe a number 9?
He's playing there now. He got 40 odd goals last year, number 9.
To me, he's the best in the world. He can...
Best footballer in the world?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Because there's efficient centre forwards. We've spoke about Kane, Lewandowski as well, and, Haaland and whatever. They're like, they're never going to let you down. They're always going to score plenty of goals. But in big games, in the most pressure... he can take a game away from someone. It's probably better you answering it. But if you're a centre-half, I don't think you're losing sleep if you're going to mark X, Y, Z, who I've just mentioned. None of them are going to beat you for skill. None of them are going to run away from you. None of them are going to strike fit. But Mbappe will... He's got the ability to embarrass you. If he gets you out wide, or he could... Bit of skill, his touch is brilliant. He's raw, pace, he can finish, he can take the game away. And somebody that can take a game away from you through brilliance has got to be the best.
Was that you? What you just described there reminded me of you. Like at 17,
but I didn't
18,
have his touch.
You weren't a skill man,
no,
but
I
you
didn't
knew to get to goal quick.
Yeah. I could rip a game away from anybody. But I didn't have the most amazing touch. I didn't have a skill. I couldn't do a step over. I was just raw and direct and could finish. But
I think you do yourself a disservice about your touch. Your touch wasn't a silky touch like a Bergkamp or like a Mbappe, but your touch was effective and it was efficient.
And my touch is has to be very different to everybody else's, because my touch has to be good when I'm running at full pelt and I was faster than most other people. So trying to have a touch, trying to have a control when you're running at faster speeds than anyone else is very difficult. My touch wasn't about coming off and linking play and getting a ball and like a
being graceful.
Teddy Sheringham or a Dennis Bergkamp. It wasn't a graceful touch. didn't ever need that type of touch. It was about being able to control the ball with extreme speed, and that's the hardest thing of all, trying to keep it under control when you're doing something.
Just on Mbappe, are you surprised how quickly he adapted in terms of the 40-odd goals that he'd scored last season? You know what it's like being...
Yeah. No, I wasn't surprised. No, I mean, he is so good, scoring hat-tricks in World Cups and things like that. I mean, not surprised. No, I just think he's brilliant. And I've been to Madrid, obviously. It's not that hard to adapt into a team that's got the ball 80% of the time, virtually every game, apart from, 1 or 2 games a season. I mean, you're literally getting fed the ball all the time. You're playing with great players in a great stadium. Everyone expects you to win. It's virtually impossible not to score. It's hard not to score when you're playing for Real Madrid. So I'm not surprised. I think he's absolute top of the tree personally. I think he's the best player in the world at the moment. Who do you think?
Best player in the world? I'd have to go with you in terms of, if you're going to go, everyone's on their best day. I think Mbappe's that guy.
Yeah.
We were looking at this season Ballon d'Or winners, probably potentially Dembele or Lamine Yamal, probably the 2 front runners for it. But I think if they're all on their best day right now, I'd probably still say it. Mbappe's the best player. He got 41 goals last season. I think if Real Madrid win the league last season, get far in the Champions League, he probably gets the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
In that sense. But does the best player win the Ballon d'Or? Or is it just the form player?
No, not necessarily. You can't be a mug and win it, can you? You don't get a bad Ballon d'Or winner. But I think there's been possibly cases when the 8th best player in the world can win it. Yeah, I think you've got to be one of the very, very elite. But I don't think you have to be the best in the world. You have to have a brilliant season. You have to be one of the best in the world, and your team has to be successful as well.
So you look at Rodri winning it.
Yeah.
Where was you in that? Because I was Vinicius Junior. I don't say Rodri shouldn't have won it.
Well, exactly. I'm the same.
So
I wasn't offended that Rodri won it.
No, was I?
In terms of this joke. This is a joke. And bear in mind, the voting system is so thorough. I mean, it's captains, it's managers, actual players. It's journalists, it's a whole variety of people, and lots of votes go into it. So you can never, people that moan about the winner of it, it's losing credibility because of this and that. As I say, I would have said 60% Vinny Jr., 40% Rodri. I would have probably voted for Vinny Jr., but I wasn't offended at all. And if the vast majority, then I, thought that, then I was happy to.
My thing is I don't think keepers should be even voted for. They shouldn't be allowed to be voted for. I want to be excited. Keepers don't.
Defenders as well for that matter.
Yeah, I'd actually say the same. Seriously.
You've got to be so good to be a defender and win it. I mean, listen.
Cannavaro won it, didn't he?
I'm saying that in front of you, but in the main, it's easier to defend than it is to create, isn't it?
Explain that, please, because I don't know about that.
It's easier to spoil in many ways than to create, isn't it? You asked me to build this house, I wouldn't be able to do it. But give me a few weeks, I'll be able to knock it down.
It's spot on with that explanation there. Literally, I think somebody else said the same thing. Being an attacker is harder than being a defender, because what you got to do, the defender can see everything that's coming behind you or in front of you, whilst they're covering you. Whilst you can't see what a defender is seeing, right? You can only see the ball, but you can't see anything else when you trying to create something or you're trying to score a goal. So in essence, he's right. Being an attacker is harder than being a defender. And the way you just explained it there is simple as that. Right, give me a house to build a house. I would never be able to build a house for you. But tell me to knock it down. Give me a week. I'll probably knock this whole place down. Destroy it.
You know what I mean?
What an analogy that is.
Well, I can ruin things. I can kick the ball into Rosette. The crap kid at school can do that. Now, obviously, I'm taking it to a stupid extreme, but the beauty, the grace, the skill of football is trying to score goals. At the end of the day, it's the goals that win games, and of course, you need a great defender. Blah blah blah. But the hardest thing in the world is to score a goal. Is to beat players and have this vision and have this ability to score, or doing what Messi does. I mean, you know, in this world, in your world, you were that player at the absolute elite. If you're talking about elite strikers, the Messis, the Ronaldos of this sort of last 15 years, you know, the likes of yourself was that then, but at the end of the day, you are a defender, so you are going to get marked down when it comes to getting that. Do you not agree?
I have to agree, yeah. And I
You
would
can
be
be as
marking it down.
good as you can ever be.
Yeah. And I agree
and
with
you couldn't be much better than you were in your position. And I don't know what I was going to say, rightly so, but it is harder to be an attacker.
Yo, Michael Owen is dropping gems, bro. He's dropping gems. It's making so much sense. He needs to do more podcast. Michael needs to turn up and do more podcast. You know, because he's making so much sense just by his analogy, the way he analyze stuff, and the way he speaks on certain things, positioning different teams, elite mentality. You know, growing up. Oh man, it's a good watch. It's a good listen.
Than a defender overall, isn't it?
I agree. I have to agree. Through gritted teeth, but I agree, 100%. Do you know what? I want to talk about, I've got you here as a striker. It's more on the craft of being a striker. How has it changed from when you were a 17-year-old flying onto the scene to where we are today for a striker? And where would you have fitted in today?
I asked myself that question. I think I'd have to have been one of the wide players. Don't think I've got the stature or anything to be able to occupy two of you. I don't think I could really have done that. So I guess I would have played as one of the wider players, probably on the left now, because everyone's cutting in onto their good side. The worry I have for strikers nowadays is that I spent my life learning my trade, and that was with other people, playing with other people. And you think of the partners back in the day, and you always playing off people, and if he goes there, the defender will go there, and it's combinations, and then you might get a midfield runner or a wide player or whatever. Now, how are we going to reinvent this pairs? Like football, I think, is quite
systematic.
Yeah, and yeah, it goes in and out of fashion as well. And I've been waiting for teams to go back to having two up front. But now I'm starting to think, do you know what, will that ever happen? Have we seen the last of it? I hope not. But again, going back to your question, it's, you know, I learnt my trade with a two. When Gerard Houllier once asked me to play up front on my own, I was like, oh my word, I'm bare. I feel naked here. I feel as if like no one's near me. What am I supposed to? Am I supposed to hold it up and try to bring people into play? Or not really my strength. I didn't really know what to do. Only because I'd never learned that. Pairs is sadly feels like it certainly is a dying breed. It's just whether it can come back. I'm not sure whether the nail's in the coffin in many ways.
I remember we sat in an airport once. We were delayed for ages, and I remember saying to you, and since then I've wanted to interview you. This is years ago. It's like 3 or 4 years ago. And I said to you, we were talking about, I think it was Rashford when he first come through and he had Mbappe flying and everything, and I was going to you, where does 17 and 18-year-old Michael Owen sit when you're talking about the best? Forget Lamine Yamal now, because I think he's just an anomaly. He's out on his own right now. Or you might say different, you might say you're better than him as well. But where would you say in the last like 10, 15 years of young, the Haalands, the Mbappes, the Rashford, 17, 18-year-old Michael Owen, at his full pump, where does he sit when they were all at their best?
When they were all at 17, when we're comparing 17-year-olds.
When we were all 17, 18, 19-year-olds coming through doing their thing, and we was all saying...
You can't compare 17-year-old Michael Owen or 18-year-old Michael Owen to Mbappe or Rashford or Haaland, because he won the Ballon d'Or 18. He won the Golden Boot twice, 17 and 18 in 2 years, back to back. You can't compare them. You just can't do it. No. I mean, Mbappe, I think, won the World Cup. Yeah, maybe. Close.
Wow, look at they're scoring so many goals, playing at World Cups, top goal scorers in their respective leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody Like, the next one always comes along. You mentioned Rashford, but like, I haven't got the numbers to hand, but you know, I don't even know. What did he score in his first season as an 18-year-old? Did he play at 17 or 18? He probably scored like
as a teenager
6 goals or something. And everyone's saying, it's like, where does that come from?
What?
Like, who's ever watched me at 17 and then watched these players when they're 18, 19 and compared me? It's like the only person you could possibly compare me to in our country is Wayne Rooney. And I saw Waz got asked, you know, who's the best between me and him at 17, 18 the other day, and I did smile. But like, how can?
Oh man!
Do you know what I mean? It's now people can watch me at 26 and say he's way better than him. Yeah. I had half a hamstring and everything else. I mean, look at me all you like at 26. In fact, I was embarrassed to have my name on my shirt when I was 26 and beyond.
Was you?
Yeah, I mean, I was gone. I was way in decline. I won that in decline. I won that in massive decline. I snapped my hamstring in two when I was 19. And between the age of 7 years old and 19, I'm not sure there was a player on the planet. There was a few. R9, he like at 17, 18, it was like, oh my word. I played against Thierry Henry at that age. You know, he was a late developer. He wasn't, you know, at 17, 18. I think I was 16 and he was 17 or 18 or whatever. He was a year or two older than me. But in those Europeans, he wasn't, you know, doing what I was doing. As I say, at 17, I won the Golden Boot in the Premier League at 17. It will never be done again. And at 18, 2 times. As I say, it's like, and no one will ever, you know, I'm not here to sort of extol my virtues. I mean, I'm long gone. But
I think it's important
but no one remembers, because everybody remembers me at 31, 32 and just like, oh, he links play and then he gets it. Okay, he's a good finisher. But that's all I was. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't do anything else. Scholesy would get the ball when I was at United, when I was 32, and I'd be like, oh no, I can see it. My brain is telling me, my instinct and everything. And Scholesy's looking at me and thinking, run. And I know I would have scored. I know I could have scored, you know, if I was the same as I was when I was 17, I'd be scoring these massive numbers that everyone's scoring now. But I was like, I can't. I'll snap my hamstring in two. So I've got to link it. Get the ball, and I'll just get in the box. And if the ball dropped, I could still finish. I could still finish now. But I can't get there. If you put a ball to me now, you know, I played in Vietnam a couple of days ago. I scored twice in the first half. Yeah, I can score. I can, like, finishing is fine. It's getting into those positions that's the killer. But no, at a young age, then, you know, I don't think you're looking in this country, if you want comparisons. Wayne Rooney is the only one that you could probably say.
Are you looking at England now and going, England's ability to produce a number 9 now is quite worrying when you look beyond someone like Harry Kane? And no disrespect to the guys that have got Liam Delap, who's gone to Chelsea, but they still seem to be in their development years and we're not sure what they're going to end up being. Solanke as well, done all right in his first year, but still not sure what level he's going to get to. And so when you look at the amount of the depth that we're lacking, does that concern you?
We ought to be thankful that we've got someone like Harry Kane that can bang goals in left, right and centre still, but he's not going to last forever. And then you think, right, who's going to take over that mantle and basically score virtually every time they play? And that's a worry. But that's a worry for everyone. But I just don't see lots and lots of strikers coming through.
With that in mind, what do you think about our chances of the World Cup?
I think we've done incredibly well to do what we've done in the last few years and get so deep in competitions. This summer, it's going to be red hot. I mean, everything's against us. Everything. Our defence feels quite... I'm a bit nervous about our defence. We've had some great fullbacks. I just don't see now, at our goalkeeper, our defence, I don't see anything that's world class.
Trent's not world class?
Yeah, he is playing a certain way, yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this manager utilises him, because our previous one didn't think so.
Yeah. Does he give us an edge, Thomas Tuchel, given that he has won the Champions League, he's shown he can go to other countries and win trophies?
Thomas Tuchel, yeah, he's won some big trophies, absolutely. Does he give us more of an edge than Southgate? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But just touching on that, I mean, I've got nothing against Thomas Tuchel. Nothing. I think he's a very, very good manager and looks a really nice guy. But isn't international football like our country against your country? And we play every single week, sometimes more than once a week, in the league, when any player, any manager, any physio, any doctor, anyone from anywhere can come and get a job and be, elite in the Premier League. And we have the most incredible competition all year round of the best playing in one league. The one time it's our country against your country. And
I can see where this is going. I can see where Michael is going with this one. Literally, I can see it. Like, the England job should be given to English manager or British manager or what's not. But there are no. Who actually can you say is better than Tuchel from an English manager perspective when you look at it? I don't see Eddie Howe at Newcastle. I can't even see him getting the best out of these players. Because when they play football, it's not about winning. It's about building a relationship most of the time. Whilst the top teams, like international players, like Italy, Brazil, Argentina, you always see them fighting each other because, they call each other out. They hold each other accountable. But with the England national team, it's all like friendly. They're too friendly to each other. They're too scared to call each other out. That, for me, I'm not saying club football, it works. It can work out club football. But when you're trying to win a trophy every 4 years or every, 8 years or 4 years or so, you can't be friends with people that don't want to win it. That are just there for the vibes, just there for the caps, I got called up by, to play for England. They got to be ruthless. But I can see where Owen is going with this, and I'm not saying it's wrong. It's not. But majority of the biggest or the most elite international team, they've all got foreign managers. And you're going to stick to your own just because of pride. The pride that comes with it. Yes, if he wins a trophy with somebody who is English, absolutely. Yeah, that's an additional bonus there. But they've tried it and it's not worked. They've also tried the international bit, it's not worked. So I guess England just going to invest on producing some good managers. Like, I don't know. Let's see what he's got to say. But I could see where it was going.
And then you've got like a foreign manager of virtually every country in the world, and then on the bench they'll have all their the same nationality of coach, and then the doctor, and then this and then that. Isn't that just defeating the whole purpose of international football? This is about us, England. We've got the best coach, the best players, the best physio, the best doctor, the best masseurs, the best coach, the best everything. This is us against you. And I just can't, it annoys me now that virtually every international team, I think that obviously there's a rule with footballers. Should be a rule. If you're on that sheet, if you're representing whatever country it might be, and that team sheet goes in, and whoever's on the bench, whoever's in, that should be the best of what we've got against the best of what you've got. Because it's not just the team out on the pitch, it's the subs, it's the manager, they all play a part, it's the physio, it's everything. And that's the essence of international football. It's our best, what we've got to give against what you've got to give. And I just can't. I just can't
I actually agree
stomach
with you.
it.
I actually
It does my
agree.
head
I
in.
actually agree with you. I think it's happening around the world. So I don't think England should go, right, we're going to be this, because I think we'll end up penalising ourselves and we'll be playing at a disadvantage maybe to other countries because they're picking the best about to go and manage for their country or be a physio or whatever. But I think if FIFA came in and went, right, we're going to make everything across the board, you have to be the same nationality from that country, then I think it would be, it could even make it even more patriotic.
Absolutely.
So who would you give it to if it was English only now?
We could have had a lot of Frank Lampard.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't have minded going with Frank. Steven Gerrard.
Oh my.
There's and you know what?
Eddie Howe?
Eddie. Well, yeah. Realistically, I don't think we would have got it, but I think we could have got Frank.
Okay. I've said is making a lot of sense, but what is chatting now is pure gibberish. It's just being patriotic, which is fine. Yeah, love your country all you want, but if we're talking about DEI, people that did not deserve to get to be in a certain position, you can't just give the England job to Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. You just cannot do that. They've been tried and tested at club level, right? Lampard is doing his business now, championship level, and he failed to qualify to come up last season. But you're talking about the national team. Okay, they've played for England. They know what it's all about. Then they carry the badge, they won the flag. But you cannot give the job to people like Gerrard or Lampard. Why? Just because they play football? Christ. Okay, Owen. Okay. Let's continue.
Lampard, definitely. And you know what? That's part of it. So if we've not got a good manager at the time, that's our fault. Come on, let's book
Produce
up.
one, yeah.
Let's start producing one. At the minute, who cares? It's not in the FA's interest. It's not in anyone's. It's not really that important for us to have.
Yeah, it makes them actually go out and have to really produce a coach, produce a manager.
I didn't go into it. The hoops and the this and the that, and when I looked at the pathway and when I thought about it, and when I just thought, do you know what? I can't see how you can really succeed. How is anyone gonna succeed in coming out of football now with the way things are? Let's take me for example. If I went to get a job now in football, try to be a manager, where would I get? I'd be like, with all due respect, I'd be my local team. I'd do well to get Chester, my local city. I'd do well to get that job.
Yeah, because that's what you've achieved and that's where you belong. Because you've not managed a Premier League team. You've not managed any lower league teams and become successful at it. You don't expect to just give you the Manchester United job, the Liverpool job, the Chelsea job, like they did with Lampard, and it was a disaster. So go start from somewhere. Show that even if you lose some games, but you got to win some games. Let them see that you've got a style of play before you can bring it to the national team. But now it's just, I think it's talking of privilege. Like, okay, I'm entitled to this. I should be given this job because I'm English. Oh no. He's talking of privilege now. Come on, Michael. Come on. You better than this. Otherwise, why are people like Pauline's not giving the Manchester United role? John Barnes, the Liverpool job. Because they didn't meet the criteria. They didn't deserve it. Lampard has been given jobs, at the top. It's not like Lampard has not been given the chance, the opportunities. Time and time again, he gets sacked, he gets another job. When Rooney gets sacked, he gets another job. But wherever Rooney has been, it's flopped. Even though some of it's not his fault, but it did flop. Gary Neville, even the worse. You can't just say, okay, let's just give him the role. Imagine they gave that the role of Manchester United to Gary Neville and he flopped. Yeah, it's not the FA's fault. These coaches and managers that come out of football playing, just because you're a great footballer, doesn't mean you're gonna make a great coach. Nah, that's not how it works. So I think I think you, I can see you flying the flags. I can see the flags coming out, which is fine. Which is fine. We all love, we love the flag, um, but don't use the flag to gain a position over someone that deserve it just because they're German, they're Russian, they're Polish, they're American. That's what Owen is saying. So it doesn't matter if you rubbish at a job, just give it to an Englishman, preferably Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard. Or you see how he only mentioned a certain people, all right, that look just like him. He's not mentioned the other legendary black footballers, black footballers that played for England, that scored for England, that represented the flag through and through. The people that in coaching, by the way, these people are still in coaching, management. He didn't mention them. The people he mentioned are Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. This interview, this part of this interview reminds me of when that idiot Talksport, Dean Saunders, telling Marcus Rashford to be like Scotty Scheffler. Come on, bro. It doesn't make sense. Two different things. So being a footballer and being a coach or manager, two different things, bro. Just because you play the game at the highest level doesn't mean you'll be known as the greatest, coach ever. Because look at Jose. He never played football. Well, he did a bit, but he's one of the best. Then you look at people like Sam Allardyce. They gave him the job, and they ended up finding out he was a mercenary. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up when you speak like this, or when it doesn't add up. Stick to punditry, because you're never a coach, and you've never coached any team. You can give advice, you can talk about how to score goals, blah blah blah, but you will never be a coach. And Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard, they've all been given countless opportunities. These people, they get sacked 3-4 times, they still getting the jobs. Why? Why is that? When Rooney has been sacked how many times, and he's been around the world, he's went and managed elsewhere abroad. So why is Owen getting angry at a German managing England? I'm pretty sure Brazil is managed by an Italian, and America is managed by a Spanish, I think, and Portugal. Oh, interesting. So you're gonna starve yourself from winning trophies, or giving yourself the chance to win a trophy by not recruiting someone that's good enough for the role, and give it to someone just because they're English or they're white. That's not healthy mentality, Owen. That's not. The thing is, you gave it to these foreign managers so that you challenge the local managers to step their game up. I think that's what the FA is doing, right? If we're asking players to push, to fight for their positions, why can't we ask managers, coaches? Like you said, we need rules. If we have the rules, coaches need to fight for their positions. Show that you're capable. Show that you've earned that position before they can give it to you. Okay, I can see Eddie Howe at Newcastle. He's done well. He's done well at Newcastle. All right. He's lost one final. He's won one. He's been to Europe twice now. So I can see him doing the job at England. Maybe after Thomas Tuchel, he can take over. But not Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard. They've not done anything in the Premier League. If anything, they nearly get relegated. But I see what Owen is doing there. Owen is flying the flag. It's all right to fly the flag, but you can't punish yourself just because you want the job to go to somebody like Gerrard or come on, come on.
It's in the 6th or 7th tier of football. And now I'm trying to coach football that
never played.
I've never
It's
played.
a different sport almost.
Winning second balls, full-backs not getting high and wide, centre-halves not splitting, number 6 coming to get the ball. I don't understand. That's all I've known is playing that type. So I don't know the league. I don't know the players. I don't know the style of play. I don't know. So I'm going to go and get a manager's job at let's say, a conference team at best, and then I'm going to fail. And then everyone thinks you're a rubbish manager. And loads of them have done it.
Because you're a rubbish manager.
I tip my hat off to Wayne Rooney for what he's done. I mean, if you give you or a Lampard or a Gerrard or a Rooney or that generation of player, Paul Scholes or whoever was playing for England at that time, if you gave them a top job, it sounds stupid because obviously but they'd have so much more chance of succeeding because they're straight into doing something that they know. Pep Guardiola, they get given it about, straight. That's
Xavi.
what he knows. Xavi, that's what they know. We're making our managers go and manage Plymouth Argyle and, this team and that team and all the. They don't know. They don't know that football.
I always say,
why are we doing
it's a
it? We're
different
killing
sport.
our generation of players, a generation of brains, a
Coaches.
generation of coaches. I looked at it and thought, sod that. And do you know what all that happens? This is going on a tangent here. We keep winning.
I love it, don't worry.
We keep winning these youth tournaments. We've won it again, under 21s.
Lee Carsley.
Again. But the players now, I'm going back to the players. We won it 4 years. We retained it. We've won the under 19s a few years ago. Steve Cooper won it. We've won all kinds. 17s, I think, have won it. We win youth competitions. Yeah. And rather like our pathway for managers that I've just mentioned, we're quite clearly bringing the best players through. Yeah. All of a sudden, we're beating Portugal and Spain and Germany and all these nations. And then all of a sudden, these guys go back and they go and play 50 games for Lisbon or Boa Vista or Leverkusen or whatever because they can get in these teams. Our team, let's say a Liverpool wide player is one of the stars, let's say Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
he's never going to play instead of Mo Salah. Never in a million years.
And wary.
Exactly. So all of a sudden now, these Portugal players, Germany players, they play 50 games, 100 games. They play 30 games in the Champions League. They're now 22, 3-4 years on. And now we're buying them for 100 million. Our players were better than them 3 years ago. But it's impossible for them to get into the teams.
Well, listen, there's a lot of food for thought there. But I'm going to take you back, right?
That's a brilliant analogy there by Owen. The same players they're paying for 50, 60 million now. The English player did beat them in the Euros. So why are the English players not getting the opportunity or, throw them straight into the deep end? I think I can see what you meant there with the England job. But this is club level. We're talking club football. They're two different things, Owen. You can't just, I don't know. Because they've tried it before. Frank Lampard came out of football. He went straight into managing Chelsea. Michael Carrick has been given an opportunity at Manchester United, even though as a caretaker. So it's happened. Birmingham City, Borough. So those are all top teams that they should have tried and progress and get them into the Premier League. But they've not done that. But you want to skip all of that, right? You want to skip all of that process and get them straight into top jobs. Pep is a one in a lifetime. Right, just like Sir Alex Ferguson. Pep is one of them coaches that it's just different. It's like the Messis, it's like the Ronaldos, it's like yourself, the Owens. They don't make them like you no more. They don't make them like Michael Owen. They don't make them like Messi. They don't make them like Ronaldo the way they used to do. So he can't. They tried it with Lampard. He was given the Chelsea job twice, and he failed twice. He didn't succeed. Gerrard, he succeeded in Scotland a little bit, Not much. He went to Saudi. What happened there? He ran away. So Gary Neville went to Spain. He was the worst manager ever to grace the Spanish league. So I don't know. You couldn't give Paul Scholes the Manchester United job. You couldn't give Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, any of those guys the Manchester United job. Rio Ferdinand, you can't give him the United job because I don't think they cut for it. You know, they're good at talking. They're good at football. They've played their football. But coaching other people now, it's not the same as the people that I used to play with alongside. So I can't see that happening at any point where a Manchester United player retires straight into the Manchester United job role. Can't see that happening.
You talk about bursting on the scene and young players playing a load of games. Lamine Yamal, he could have a chance of winning this year. He'd be in the running to win the Ballon d'Or. I should remind people that when you were these ages, you was winning the Golden Boot twice. These ages, you were going to World Cups and scoring ridiculous goals and important goals that made you an iconic superstar immediately. Doing very similar things. How was that period for you as a young superstar, and it almost just came like that?
It's everything's mentality, mate. You know that. You know, we're given what we're given, and of course, you know, being quick was a huge asset for me. But
yeah, is that what set you apart? You think your mentality? Obviously, you had the raw attributes that you had, the pace, the eye for goal, etc. But you could probably go around the world and find a few people that had them. Anelka had that. Like there's players that you could go there, but then the mentality to really go above and beyond. Is that the thing that really put you?
Yeah, the more I talk to players, and listen, some players in the Premier League call me up, and I really enjoyed speaking to them about certain things and whatever. The more and more people I meet, the more and more kids that want advice, the more and more I just look at people and think, you're just not mentally strong enough. Forget what you like physically and whatever. Everything is between your ears. Everything. I mean, my missus laughs at me. She says I'm the most delusional man in the world.
Why?
And delusion is actually an important thing. If you always think you're better than you are, you will catch up with that. You know, I could name so many players that were probably very, very average as kids, and now they're household names, record breakers, didn't have skill, didn't have pace, didn't have anything, but sheer bloody mindedness to get to the top. And you can think of two, and you're probably thinking the same people I'm thinking. Now,
name them, go on.
No. But if you're that good, but you think you're that good, you will just keep believing it. You end up, and then you think you're better again. And this delusion of, I'm better than him, I'm better than him, I'm better than, you know. And even if you're not, you will end up being it if you've got this. Now, it's easy to say it, it's very hard to do it. But there's only two players I've ever seen that made me think, oh no. When I was growing up at like 15, 16 and watching R9, I was thinking, oh no, I think I'm like as good as it gets. Yeah. I think I'm going to be on like world class and blah, blah, blah. And then I watch him and I think, oh no, I'm just going to be
He's understudy.
And the other person is Thierry Henry.
Yeah, I've seen you say this, yeah.
Like when he came to the Premier League, I thought I'm never going to win another Golden Boot again. And I was right. But everyone else, whether it was Shearer, whether it was Van Nistelrooy, I never watched anybody and thought, oh yeah, you can do loads that I can't do.
So when you came into the England squad like we did, we were both like, I was like 18, you were 17 or whatever it was. Was you walking in there looking at like Teddy and Shearer and going, I should be playing?
Yeah. I was, and I did.
Yeah.
I was, and I did.
That's like, let me just think now. That's like...
but is that delusional? Because I did.
That's like Nweri coming in now, who's actually, and going to Arteta, you need to move Saka somewhere else because I should be playing. Who's been their best player, Saka, scoring all their goals, and convincing the manager to know that you have to move him because I'm better. That's how you're walking into the team. Just to put it into today's.
Yeah, but if he is better than him, then and you say you've got to convince Arteta. I think you've got to convince yourself. Like I knew, and it might have been that delusion thing that I mentioned. But like, if you believe it, well, I don't need to tell Glenn Hoddle that I should be playing in this World Cup.
He should know.
He should know. So I was sub in the first game against Tunisia.
Yeah.
And then sub in the second game against Romania, but came on with 15 minutes to go, scored, and then hit the post from like 20-something yards. But then they scored and then they beat us. But I came on and helped. Well, whatever, scored. And then, of course, I played in the next game against Colombia. We won, kept my place, Argentina. And then from then on, I was obviously in England.
So the game you came on, was it Romania you come on? I remember that's the game. So we were on the bench together. And I remember you sitting there and going, he's got to get me on, I will score. You know, I remember you keep saying that. It was me, you and Paul Mercer. Like, me and Paul Mercer sitting each other and going, and you was just like an agitated young kid.
I was so frustrated.
Sitting there like,
I told the gaffer, Glenn Hoddle, I couldn't believe, like, we were losing 1-0. And I was thinking, he might bring me on at half time. And then he never. And I'm like, I'll give him 5 minutes then. And then 50 minutes, 55, and I'm like, and by the time, honestly, I don't think he brought me on until about, I don't know, check, 75 or 72 or so. He literally gave me 15, 18 minutes or something. I was like, we're losing.
And I'll here.
Score. Like, I didn't tell him that, I told you that. It's like,
I was ringing home after, because you used to get an allowance to ring home, so it was like £2 a minute then. But it was like loads of months. So I was thinking that we've got an allowance, I'll be all right. Ringing my mates, and half the call was like, this guy, he could win the World Cup for us. He's like, because he's so convinced that he's the guy who should be on the pitch scoring goals. And that self-belief was one of the things that stayed with me with you, that I just thought like it was just so different to anything. Because like, even I was considered a top talent coming through, but I wasn't in there going, I was just thinking, just give me a couple of minutes here and there. Like, I'll come on for a bit. And then you was like, no, I should be starting and them guys need to be where I'm sat. It was just so different. Do you know what I mean?
The academy director used to say, I've never known a player with a shit filter like you. You can turn like absolute that into positive. I can turn good into good or bad into good.
Well, that's your mentality, isn't it?
That's my mentality. And if you can train that in people, if I'm speaking to a young kid or whatever, if I can start training negatives into positives, when you get a ball in the warm-up and the ball bounces off your shin, what do you think when you're about to play? Like,
oh my God, I've had a bad warm-up.
Well, exactly. I used to think, well, that's my bad one out the way. I'm going to be on fire today. And if I killed it dead, it's like, my touch is on fire today. I'm going to be on fire today. I couldn't, like, you can't lose. And as I say, I'm not.
I used to think that. I just imagine you say that. I used to have a warm-up and come in, I swear that me and the Manu Vidic was mad, like superstitious. Come in after a warm-up and either me or Vidu go, you need to be honest today, get on me today because I've had the worst warm-up ever. I'm all over the gas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we do the
Needing divine intervention.
Yeah, man.
Like I'll never forget, and listen, it takes all sorts and it's not me, you know, but I never forget, and David James was exactly the same with this. Johnny Wilkinson.
Oh yeah. England rugby player, Lions rugby player.
I mean, just the greatest kicker ever. I was up at Newcastle. He played for Newcastle Falcons. We were sharing the same. He came in to do this we had a big dome, so middle of the winter. He came in and placed like 20 balls across the whole pitch, halfway line. And he'd start on the first one and he'd knock it over. And then let's say he missed the third one. He'd go and collect the balls, put them back.
Start again.
Yeah. And then he'd go bang, 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 bang. 19, miss one over here. Start. He wouldn't leave the place until he's done it all. Like, I look at that and think, that's weak. You can't get over missing one. Now, don't get me wrong, practice all you like. That's incredible, you know, keep practicing. But to start again and almost punish yourself for, I'd be like, don't do that. If I miss 10 chances the day before, that's practice. I'm going to Anfield. I raise my game at Anfield. I don't miss at Anfield. That's my mentality. It's like, and how you can, so it just shows you, listen, elite, absolute elite, Johnny Wilkinson, legend, absolute, but did it totally the opposite to somebody else that can be elite. I had a filter that could just wipe that off.
Get away.
Yeah, off a duck's back. I'll still go and,
Still going to motor from the halfway line and finish.
Yeah, and that's how that was my mentality.
Talking about mentalities, you have to have a strong mentality to go to Real Madrid. Trent Alexander-Arnold's gone from Liverpool. Same move that you made.
Yeah.
I think taking a bit of time to look at Trent's move and just going to Real Madrid, I'm fascinated to hear what it's like to walk into a Real Madrid dressing room full of superstars. You've done exactly that as well. Probably a few more superstars when you went there.
I'd say so.
What's that like?
I walked into R9, Figo, Zidane, Bex, Roberto Carlos, Raul, and I knew, or I felt, as if I need to gain their respect straight away. The first training session, I've never concentrated so much in my life. I wanted them to be able to pass me the ball, me to show I've got a good touch, I'm never going to lose it for you. Your ball is safe with me. And if they can't trust you, you know what it's like. It's easy when you're playing at home against, the 15th team in the Premier League. You make mistakes, you take liberties and whatever. But when the shit hits the fan, when you're needing to win, when you're in a Champions League final, or when you're playing against a proper team, when it's every sinew you need to stretch to win this game, you need ultimate trust, confidence in anybody. And that's what I thought. That's what you've played with players, Scholesy. Even if Scholesy knows that you're putting him in the crap by giving him a ball, but you're in a bigger lumber, lots of people would think, I ain't taking one for you. And they won't even come and show. And you've got to try to win a foul or try to win a throw in or something. Someone like Paul Scholes will come and think, no, I'm capable.
Give it to me.
Give it to me. I've got 3 men on, but do you know what?
Zidane,
exactly. And what you want to do is to be able to show these people that you're that type of person. You're a get-out ball, you're a good finisher, you're, whatever it might be. And that was my first thing. Forget the fans, forget the manager.
You achieved that.
They'll be impressed at some point. I've got to get their respect as well.
And you achieved that.
Yeah.
Because you turned up as the Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
The year before.
Absolutely, yeah. Which I was going to say a minute ago. One thing that winds me up is when people say, "How were you not in awe when you walked in?" It's like, what?
I walked in with that under my arm.
Exactly. There was only a couple of them in the dressing room.
Yeah.
But you got to do that. And yeah, did I achieve it? Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the numbers. I think I started 20 games. I scored 18 goals. It's a good contribution. I think I was the best in the league in terms of minutes per goals. I scored plenty. The thing is, Barca were bloody brilliant at that point. I mean, they were brilliant. They battered us 3-0 at Camp Nou, and then we beat them 4-2 at our place.
Did you score?
Have you seen the scorers that day?
Go on.
Eto'o, Ronaldinho, Raul, R9, Zidane and Owen.
Wow. Has there been a better day of scoring in one
good
game?
5 and me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, just going back to Trent, what did you think of the criticism he faced?
Didn't like it. But I didn't like it. Understand it, of course. We understand it because we live it and we've lived it all our life and we're in and around football. But fans will never get it because they've got a badge there, and till the day they die, they will always support that badge. And no matter what the club do, they might do wrong, and a lot of clubs do wrong to their players and things like that. They will never have a cross word against their club. Now, it's our career, it's our life. And, I go back to someone like Jack Grealish. The Aston Villa fans booed him and are quite nasty, actually, to this day against him. And I couldn't believe when I was watching him play against him, and it made me feel physically sick. But here's a kid that's been there since he was a baby, like 7 or something. He's come through the ranks. They were rubbish. They were in the Championship. He's literally, and I don't care...
Dragged them up.
Dragged up single-handedly. Literally. If ever there's been a one-man team in the last 15 years in football, I would say it was him at Villa. Dragged them up single-handedly, captained the team, 100 million... He's gone, Like, if he didn't do that, if he said no to Manchester City, what would our game be like? What would football be like? It'd be rubbish. Everyone moans about that it's for money all the time. Here's people that actually show a bit of something.
Bit of risk, bit of bollocks.
A bit of risk. Going new language, new teammates, new country, new food, new weather, new everything. It's like a big risk. He could have sat there. And so could have Jack Grealish, and so could have you, and so could have loads of people. But imagine what the game would be like if we didn't have these people that actually try to make something of their lives. I'm having a conversation with you about playing for Real Madrid with some of the great players. I've had an experience in my life.
None of us have had.
So have my family and whatever, that when I came back to the England squad and saw Carroll, the first people picked up the phone and said, "What's it like? Oh my word, what's it like playing with Zidane and all these players?" Well, you can't have both,
life's about experiences
exactly,
as well.
Of course it is. And we're just people that are trying to do the best we can do. But I get it because I understand a fan's mentality.
I've loved chatting to you like this, actually, with a Ballon d'Or just sitting there nicely.
You're quiet, isn't it?
But I think also a big part of me wanted to do this is for people to see this side of you. So I think it's important. And I think we're both people as well. I think this in the punditry world, criticism comes with the territory. And I think we're both big enough and ugly enough to understand that.
Speak for yourself. You say ugly enough. Yeah, speak for yourself.
But do you think like TV Michael Owen is the same guy that I know when I'm chatting to in the green room? Do you think it's a true reflection of like who you are?
I don't know. I'm still a little bit confused in terms of, how the world sees me. Because you've got kids, I've got kids. My kids always say to me, "Dad, everyone says you're boring or miserable or whatever. Everyone else has got these dead funny things. Are they a pundit? Dead funny memes or whatever they say. But all your stuff, everyone just says you're boring and, makes up these false quotes of yours, whatever that you're supposed to have said and things like that." So I know, but I just can't be bothered. It's just, what am I going to do? I'm 45. People have made their.
Who's your kids? Well, just out of curiosity, who's their favourite pundit? Your kids?
Roy Keane.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I think most people.
This is sad and funny at the same time. I feel bad for Owen. Imagine your kids coming home to you and go, "Dad, all I've heard about you, everyone is calling you boring. Everyone is calling you this." And the way he just said it there, it feels like it looks heartbroken. You know what I mean? Look at his face, the way when he speaks on it, and it is sad. It is quite sad. But I was probably one of those people that probably called him boring during his commentary on whatever. But just listening to him today, I can see where he's coming from when he's commentating, when he's doing his job. He's not a funny guy. It's all about business. He's not a joker. He's not a violent guy. He may carry the flag, which is a lot of people now. But and his kid's favorite pundit is Roy Keane. Why? Because Roy Keane is all about violence, Bah, bah, bah. He throws some jabs in, uppercuts. But he's funny and sad at the same time. I felt for Owen there. Felt sorry for him. But he's doing a brilliant job just by analysing the games for us. But never mind. Look at his face.
People love that
Very
sort
good
of
question.
Abrasive.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I think they all love him.
There's emotion, and there's emotion when he's talking.
Yeah, I think it appeals.
Bit of anger.
It appeals to a lot of people. I mean, from my point of view, that's not my style. So, on the TV, we've worked together for years and years, and I enjoy actually breaking down, in my case, a goal. What made that? What was he thinking? What were his options? Why was it good? Why was it bad? Give a different angle on something. And for me, just to come in and say, "Oh, if he was in my team, I would have punched him in the head," probably doesn't, Roy Keane can say it because he probably would have, but I wouldn't have, for one.
Yeah.
And two, my style is probably trying to be a little bit more informative or a little bit more insightful, I guess. Try to explain why and how.
I look at punditry like teams now, and it's took me years but I've always, after a couple of years doing it, I've always thought like, it's like playing. Like you talk about partnerships up front.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your partners.
Yeah, and they don't have to be the best player in the world.
No.
But it's how
it's combinations of how your personalities and how the way you see things match up. And I think when you get that right, I think you see the best of individuals and best of people.
Agreed.
So,
See, I love working with Scholesy. Scholesy does everything wrong in TV. Scholesy sits there like that. He looks not interested. His shirt's hanging out, and he's just like, and he's probably not bothered.
Yeah.
But it's like everything he does is, but
and
he comes out with, and when you're watching a game with Scholesy,
he sees it.
Yeah. And he knows it, and he's so knowledgeable. But you're always on edge as well. Well, not on edge, but
you don't know what he's going to say, I think, sometimes.
He can say something really, really, punchy and whatever. I think he's brilliant.
Do you know what I think about Scholesy? Like what you're just saying there, you don't know what he's going to say. Scholesy's not a big talker. He'll talk to you when you're around him and everything, right? But when you're watching a game, he doesn't really say loads. There's other people, probably like me, I'm screaming.
You commentate through that. You should be a commentator.
I'm screaming through the whole game, yeah? So you know roughly what I'm going to say. That's the difference with Scholesy. You ain't got a clue. And all of a sudden he goes, bang.
I think he's a very good pundit, Scholesy.
I do as well. I do. So just to finish, you wouldn't consider yourself boring then? There's more to you than meets the eye.
What do you think?
I wouldn't consider you boring, especially when we've had a drink.
No. I'm quite happy with where I am. I don't really want to go out on air thinking, I've got to think of another joke to tell today. That's not for me.
Well, listen, let's move on now. And finally, we're going to get to United strikers. It's been a problem for Man United strikers. What did you make of them last season?
You put Joe Blogg's average player into Liverpool's team now, and you just watch him. He will go like that. You buy him for £1 million. You'll be able to sell him for 30. I'm not saying he's going to be world class, but you'd sell him for 30 million in a few years. It's an environment. It's the whole thing. And I just think that it's easy to say, oh yeah, but they keep buying bad players. But do they? Yeah, there will be a lot of them, but not all of them were bad. When they bought Di Maria and millions of them, they weren't all bad. And half the time when they leave, they're all bloody good again.
Yeah. The environment can kill talent.
Absolutely. And I just don't know where a spark is going to come to actually... It will come eventually. Man United will win the league in 10 years, won't they? I mean, nobody could look at you and say, no chance.
I think
it could be in 4 years. It could be in 8. It could be in...
I was with someone today for lunch and they said 20 years.
Oh, it can't take that long. They're too big and too... It can't take that long. I mean, it's already been how long? 12 years. I mean, Harry Kane should have,
sick now.
A year ago, a couple of years ago, that should have happened, I think. They could have got him, I think.
That's the biggest mistake I think they've made in the last 10 years. Yeah, well, I think if they go and play the number that Spurs want, they would have got him. And if we're to believe that, then I think if it didn't happen because of a couple of million here or there, I think it was a terrible decision. I honestly think, I say this and I'm convinced, if United had gone and got Declan Rice and Harry Kane in that window, Man United are in a different place now. Because again, it goes back to the environment. Those two drive an environment, I think, together.
You do need an environment.
And I think you've got two players who are salt of the earth people, top pros.
Yeah. Who's there at the moment? I mean, I can imagine Harry Maguire would be quite vocal and quite, a leader, but...
Bruno as well.
Yeah.
Leads in I think he'll lead in a different way.
But if you look at your team and the team before that, imagine going into that Manchester United team with Ince and Rob and Keane or whatever, and McClare and Bruce and
Hughes.
Pallister and Mark Hughes and
men.
Oh, you'd be petrified going there.
No.
And then look at the team that you were a huge part of. I mean, the leaders in there. The older players. That's a generation. That's your key, your Nev and your Scholesy and your Giggsy, and then you coming into it. And even then players like younger players that come from like Rooney, he was a leader, but they can then flourish. I mean, look what Liverpool had. They got brilliant with the likes of Henderson and Milner and players like that, and now they've got Virgil van Dijk break, and
But there's a culture of setting a standard every day there at the football club that they all have to adhere to, and it's like that environment. I think is so crucial. But Man United have to get to a point of creating that. The manager's got to cultivate that environment for those players to live and breathe in every day. Where it's like at training when you come to Man United. Training was harder than matches.
World War III.
On a Friday before a game, kicking lumps out of each other.
Unbelievable.
Olders versus youngers. It's like a mad game. It'd ruin your whole day if you didn't win that game.
And it's only when you move around different clubs you realise that that's not the norm. That's elite mentality. That's just winners. How many times did the gaffer Fergie have to stop it? Like every Friday, the five-a-side, and it was supposed to be 10 minutes each way. I can't remember one finishing. Because if somebody's losing by 2 goals, right, well, we're not going to win now. Let's just go and smash
the life out of them, yeah.
Everyone just smash the life out of each other. It's like, there's going to be no players left for tomorrow. I'm not a fan of, people biting someone on the pitch like Suarez or people, or Rooney getting so mad that he screams at a ref or kicks somebody or stamps on someone. But I'm not condoning that. But that on the edge do you know what I mean? It's like, it's in training. It was happening all the time.
Arguments every day. Every
time. Like Vidic used to sit by me. He'd come, if he wasn't pouring with blood, and if I wasn't trying to hold him from trying to kill somebody, if they lost, he was just, ears with steam coming out of his ears. It's like, Vida, doesn't matter. It's all right. Don't worry. There's a game tomorrow. It's forget about it.
He wouldn't talk to someone for 3-4 days.
I know. If they lost, or it was their fault for a goal or something. It's like, people think it's just going over the edge, but you can't turn these things on and off. When I was 18, if you walked in here, every single door would have a hole in it. I would have punched a hole in it. If I had lost a training game, I would be that mad that I couldn't sort of breathe. I would be coming in, and my dad would say how did training go? And I'm like, oh, we lost, and I'd be that wild, and I just couldn't help myself through anger, and I would just have to go up to my room and just whack something or do something, because I would be that angry. And it sounds really wrong, but that's why these people are...
It's weird, Wazza was like that.
Yeah.
I went to Wazza's house, and then he was renting this house, by the way. It weren't even his house. There was holes in the wall, in the doors, and I was like... And he said, listen,
come to my house. There's a level where you have to get
playing on the edge.
Playing right on the edge, but without just going over. And if you're just nicey, I've been there, mate. I've trained with teams that are just not winners. I've gone from elite teams, and I've played for lesser teams. What's that feeling difference in training.
What's that feeling like for you? If you've been at an elite environment and then you go to something that isn't?
Well, I've said before. I sort of split my career into two. Almost Liverpool and maybe Madrid, and then afterwards, because I just wasn't the same. Not that I didn't like. I loved it at United. I loved you and the lads and whatever. And
physically, you was inhibited.
I'm not me. You know what I was when I was 18, and you know what I was when I was 30. It's like.
Night and day.
I was embarrassed. I'm coming out with flipping to these big stadiums, St James's Park, Old Trafford, with my name on my back. It's like, can I not just change my name and just think of something, call me something else? I don't want people to remember me like this. Still good, still scoring, but I'm not what I was. It's killing me. But it's like, what can you do?
It's mad, isn't it?
Agony.
In your head, it must have been hard.
Well, you know it. With all due respect, you had an amazing career. But you went in the last year, when you went to QPR, it's
embarrassing. I don't even remember that year.
Exactly, you get it out your head, don't you?
It's gone.
And you hope that everybody forgets about it.
Yeah, when people mention it now, my heart, I swear down. So I'm thinking of you now, because you had a longer time doing it.
8 years of that.
I had 8 months, if that's 6 months, and I'm going, when people mention QPR, it's like, I must blush like you never known, go red.
And it's nothing to do with the team.
Yeah. It's no disrespect to QPR. It's me.
It's you.
I was horrendous.
And this is my point. This is me, but for 10 times longer than you had it for. You had it for 8 months. I had it for 8 years. When I'm thinking,
wow, that's nuts.
I don't get this. I was looking at the clock half my career, thinking only 20 minutes to, and I could still score. I could still play well. But I wasn't. I couldn't rip a team's heart out anymore. I could just finish if I get the opportunity. I'm relying on everyone else now, whereas I used to be able to. Don't need anyone else, just give me the ball and I'll do it. And that change of mentality I didn't retire because of my body. I played in a game the other day. I retired because my mind was about to explode and I couldn't have it anymore, that I was just a Premier League player.
Just before we finish, I've got two more things. One, I need you to have a little think in the back of your mind about your five-a-side team. I think Bex's team, I think, is the best so far with all the Galacticos, but you can compete with that. But before that, Robbie Fowler, what he said is, I was better than Michael Owen in every department bar one, which was pace.
Well, that's not true, is it? It's just plainly not true. Listen, I love Robbie. He was incredible. I grew up with his poster on my wall. Love him. But, you know, I played for Liverpool with him. Gerard Houllier picked me every time. I played for England under Hoddle and Keegan. There was not one manager that didn't pick me ahead of him. So, like, I don't need to have a debate or have the argument.
Okay, that's it.
So I don't need to debate it.
Say no more. Just lastly, right, 17, 18-year-old prime, Michael Owen. Any football now, and you're going, okay, I can see, even now or before, you go 17, 18, they were better than my 17, 18.
R9. Yamal.
I love it.
Throw a name at me.
I love it. Messi, Ronaldo.
Well, I guess Messi was.
But at 17,
I can't
was
remember what he was like at 17. Was he playing at 17?
he? Yeah, but he weren't doing. He hadn't done what you.
How old was he when he won that for the first time?
I think we got to finish it.
Cristiano Ronaldo was not, was he? He was still very raw at that age.
Yeah, they didn't have the end product that you were producing at that point. They hadn't had golden boots at that stage, by the way. So
no, all of my things that I've ever won, you know, if you look at what I won in my life, Ballon d'Ors, golden boots, you know, League Cup medals, FA Cups and whatever. The only thing that I did was the Premier League that I didn't. But every other thing, every other award, whether it even be outside of football, like BBC Sports Personality of the Year at 18 and things like everything was done, you know. I've won virtually everything in 2 years, you know, at 17 and 18, really.
Well, listen, man, the Ballon d'Or's there. This interview's been everything I've wanted it to be honest with you. Sitting here speaking to you, the Michael Owen that I know, and I want everyone to see, and I'm sure they've got everything and more, but thanks for bringing the bad boy out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, real mates. That was a brilliant interview there. Listening to him, chatting to his old pal, his old teammate, Michael Owen, Ballon d'Or winner, 2-time Premier League Golden Boot winner, 17-18. He was untouchable, you know, and he's still got that arrogance in him, like, which is perfect, pitch perfect for that. He's delusional, which is fine because he thinks he's better than everybody else, and he went on to prove it. That he was better than everybody else during that season, and the past 2 seasons after that. So, real hats off to you, Rio Ferdinand. This is one of your best work so far. You actually allow people to talk. You don't interrupt. I see you looking at that Ballon d'Or, side eye, bombastic side eye. But it was a joy to watch, a joy to watch overall. I'll watch it again, but I'm pretty much tired. Maybe time for a nap, or maybe time to go out for a walk. I don't know. But in other words, I restarted school yesterday or today. And he came back very tired. So might get him to do a stream with us tomorrow or Friday after school, just to tell us how his days went. But thanks for watching. Thanks for checking in and out. It was a good watch, Rio. It was a good watch. Fair play. Let me give you a thumbs up. There you go. and drop a comment. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. I've dropped him a like, dropped a comment. Go check it out. We can like the comment as well. All I said was it was one of your best work, Rio. Fair play. Michael, you didn't interrupt him. You let him speak throughout the session. And as much as I love to stay and continue streaming, I don't know if I should just put the music in the background and just go to bed, but no. I'll save my energy for tomorrow. Do another stream, react to another video maybe. But peace out. Thanks for watching.